The California coast is currently getting slammed by monstrous waves, dangerous rip currents, and we are seeing flooding in low-lying communities.
Well, experts are calling the conditions right now life-threatening.
That wave came out of nowhere. People started running, started screaming, and it took some people out, some kids, some old people that can't really move that fast.
Unusual occurrences, inexplicable natural phenomena, or giant animals making an unprecedented appearance. Nature's always got something new up its sleeve. So let's dive in and see what moment was caught on a camera that can't go unnoticed.
What?
A very unusual clip from the Alaska River caught something that shook the whole world. The river water appeared to be going crazy there, frantically splashing and making an eerie sound. Many wild theories surfaced related to the strange occurrence, like there was an angry river monster. But the mystery was quickly solved when experts explained that the frantic river was a result of an experiment conducted on a project called HARP. It produced sound waves that made water vibrate and create patterns. Dolphins. Now let's have a look at this strange event. A pod of dolphins washed ashore last year in January, baffling the visitors who weren't expecting to encounter something like this on a normal beach day. Some of them even tried to help the poor animals by pulling them back into the water. But it proved to be of no use, as the dolphins were unable to swim back. Even though dolphins are known to have a well-developed internal navigation system that sometimes fails due to weather conditions, these strandings are becoming more and more frequent, causing great concern among zoologists who encourage people to be ready to help such animals. Seafoam. Back in February 2021, it was a sudsy day for the beachgoers at the shores of Mar del la Plata in Argentina, when they found the huge oceanfront covered in seafoam. Also known as spume, this froth was a natural phenomenon that happened when organic matter like seaweed and algae was moved by wind and waves. It created this whipped cream-like substance. And what made it all the more enjoyable was that it was non-toxic, so the people on the beach jumped in. Although it smelled a little fishy, the adventure seekers didn't seem to mind. Frozen lake. This guy went hiking on the frozen Bear Lake, Utah, is known to freeze every 7 out of 10 winters. The lake water was so crystal clear that you could even see the lake bed. Up for an adventure, he decided to see what would happen if he jumped on the rock-solid ice. He stomped on the ice with both feet and the ice started to crack, which quickly spread out as far as the eye could see and caused a roaring echo. Fortunately, it didn't break, otherwise he would have ended up in the freezing cold water. Fish frenzy. These guys, out for a kayaking trip, encountered a very unexpected scene. Just as they entered a specific part of the water, the fish went crazy, jumping out, splashing water, and some even ended up in the boat. The kids in the boat were amazed by the bizarre frenzy and got scared too. But luckily, none of these guys got hurt. It might look odd, but these fish jump like this when there's a lack of oxygen in the water. So if you ever come across something like this, no need to be terrified. The fish are just trying to breathe. Fish thief.
Whoa!
The members of the animal kingdom sure like to exchange roles. Let me show you an example. This guy on a dock trying to feed fish to a seal didn't know something bizarre was about to happen. He threw the fish into the water so that it could take it, but out of the blue, an eagle arrived and snatched the fish from the seal.
Whoa!
In the process of bagging the fish, it got its feathers wet and couldn't take the flight back to the sky. So, accepting its destiny, the eagle ended up swimming in the water. Now, you can't tell me it doesn't look like a duck. but at least it got the fish.
Dude, he's got the fish too.
Flaming Lake.
What?
A bunch of guys went out to explore Frozen Lake. What could they possibly find in frozen water? Whoa, what was that? They dug a hole in the ice and used a lighter, and this huge burst of flame blew up. But don't worry, these guys are just fine. There's natural gas, methane, brewing under the ice that caught on fire with a lighter. They tried the experiment again at night, and the gas again went wild. Fin whale.
Once again, folks, we need you to stay away from the well.
Back in December 2023, locals at Pacific Beach, California, got a surprise when a 52-foot fin whale washed ashore. The grim discovery left everyone questioning how the massive creature ended up there.
But it's a circle of life most of the time.
Local authorities attempted to tow the whale back to the ocean, but their efforts failed. People started coming in to watch the huge whale up close, so the authorities had to warn them to stay away from it due to potential health risks. Researchers are now investigating how it reached its unfortunate demise. Self-destruction. This guy, equipped with just a net, had the best fishing day anyone could wish for. Have a look for yourself. First, he caught a little one, and then suddenly a much bigger one jumped right out of the water and ended up in his net. Whoa! This fish might not have liked the solo act, so it decided to end up with its buddy, giving the fisherman a buy one, get one offer. The sky snake.
Oh, there's a hole.
A group of friends were out on a picnic when their delightful day took a very strange turn. They noticed a hawk flying over the canal. Going at full speed, it seemed a little suspicious. Then suddenly it dipped low, picked something off the road, and took off again. Out of nowhere, it turned toward the guy recording and dropped a snake, right where they were standing. The snake slithered away on the ground, leaving a group of sacred friends in its wake. The hawk was probably flying away with its prey and accidentally dropped it. Lucky day for the snake. Smoking fish. If you think humans are the only ones who like to smoke every once in a while, then this video will surely make you think twice. A couple of fish emerged from under a thick layer of mud, and one of them started to exhale smoke. The clip made rounds on the internet as everyone tried to speculate its identity. As they were surviving in the mud without water, many thought they were mud skippers. But smoking mud skippers was something unheard of. Here's another fish smoking in the water, but this one seemed to be smoking in a specific direction for some special purpose. And here's why. An eel emerged from the hole where it smoked. After a bit of back and forth, the smoker successfully swallowed it whole. Someone suggested that it was a lungfish, using smoke to prey on the eel, while many thought the clip wasn't real at all, as no fish could pull something off like this. So were these lungfish mud skippers, or some discovery their identity couldn't be verified? Mass stranding.
An estimated 1,200 tons of fish have washed ashore since early December.
Earlier this year, villagers in the Philippines couldn't believe their eyes when a huge school of fish ended up on the beach. It looked like a scene from an apocalyptic movie. The reason behind this mass stranding had been unclear, while authorities tried to investigate. A bunch of people claimed that it happened because Japan recently released radioactive water from a nuclear power plant in the Pacific Ocean. That disrupted the oceanic ecosystem, and these people might be onto something. Only a month before this incident, Japan itself faced millions of lifeless fish washed along the coast of a northern Japanese beach. The officials denied any link to the nuclear plant, but its cause is still unknown.
The cause is a mystery to local officials.
Anglerfish.
This thing washes ashore, an anglerfish.
A very bizarre looking fish was found washed ashore on Orange County Beach in California. Locals were left speechless. They had seen whales and sharks wash ashore, but nothing like this beastly fish. It was said to be a deep-sea creature that mysteriously ended up on the beach. With its unusually dark appearance and antenna-like structure on top of its head, experts said that it was an anglerfish. And it's extremely rare for them to end up like this, as they live around 3,000 feet below sea level.
An anglerfish that looks like something straight out of a horror movie.
Jellyfish washed ashore.
It's a veritable jellyfish haven on the beaches of Crimea.
Beachgoers in Crimea were in for a surprise. Instead of the usual sand and surf, the beach was packed with jellyfish. Thousands of them stretching as far as the eye could see. This jellyfish invasion wasn't by chance, it was a result of warmer temperatures caused by climate change. With less fresh water flowing in, the sea became a salty paradise for these gelatinous creatures. Scientists say the types of jellyfish in that water weren't fatal to humans, but their stings were still far from pleasant. The beach had been popular among the locals, but surprisingly, it was quieter than usual as people wanted to avoid the jellyfish crowd.
Jellyfish in the Azov Sea aren't fatal to humans, but that doesn't mean they're pleasant either.
Candle ice. This clip captured one of the most satisfying ice melt. The lakes, frozen during the winters, melt off during the warmer weather in the form of these ice candles and ice needles. All the solid, thick sheets of ice turned to long cylindrical candles and went off into the water to become liquid. Gigantic snake.
Non-venomous, however, it can kill prey by squeezing.
A team of researchers from the University of Queensland were on an exploration trip in the Amazon rainforest when they made the best discovery of the year 2024, a new species of anaconda. And not only that, it was potentially the largest snake in the world. The serpent was a female anaconda and was measured to be over 20 feet long. The head of this non-venomous snake was bigger than the guys diving beside it. Discoverers were left in awe and fear due to its immense size and predatory nature. Bubbly ice. The next on the list is a bit odd. Something appeared to be flowing under ice. It's air! Yeah, this happens when a thin layer of clear ice forms with little water flowing underneath, and air bubbles get trapped and continue to flow along. Air isn't the only thing that gets under icy lakes. Frozen bubbles and ice balls were also seen stuck underneath the lake surfaces in China. This mesmerizing sight of thousands of frozen bubbles stuck underneath was captured by visitors who had come to visit the place. And this might look like a petri dish full of fungi culture, but it's ice balls caught under a frozen lake. Fire and water.
Holy! Unbelievable!
Fire inside water? What's going on here? This guy on a visit to an Australian river captured this strange sight. The river water seemed to be burning. But before you make any wild theories, let me explain. This isn't any ordinary river. There are loads of natural gas in there, and that's what is happening here. You can see the water bubbling, and that gas has caught fire in the water. Here's another river somewhere in the US that was captured bubbling up, and it looks similar to the previous one. Upon inspection, it was discovered that it was the natural gas in the water that was bubbling.
Incredible. This is just off Fremont Island on the Great Salt Lake in the middle of nowhere.
Reverse waterfall. Few places on Earth seem to defy the rules of nature, and this waterfall in Ivins, Utah is one of them. As the water falls downwards in a normal waterfall, it goes reverse in this waterfall. The water moves back up the steep cliff. This drone footage showed how every drop of water was either just suspended or going upward. And you might be thinking, what made this waterfall like this? Well, it's the strong winds. They're sure enough to overpower gravity, pulling the water down. Only nature can go against itself. Firefall. At first sight, this might look like a volcano fall, but it isn't. It's just a regular waterfall that becomes special when light hits it at a very specific angle. In February, as the sun sets, its light hits the water in a way that makes it look orange and red, resembling fire falling down the cliff. Hence the name. Here's another amazing waterfall tucked away at Glacier Point, Yosemite National Park in California. The fall flows rainbow, and it's not for everyone to witness. Only after high winds and rain at the perfect daytime, this spectacle is visible. Previously remained undocumented, this 2,400-foot rainbow waterfall is surely a sight for the lucky ones. Moose Walker. You might have seen a running moose, but have you seen a moose running on top of water? Well, here you have it, a moose running over a lake. These guys on a boat were not prepared to see this. Quickly capturing on camera, the clip made rounds on the internet as well, with people trying to figure out how was this moose able to pull this trick off. Some even said that the video was nothing more than a hoax. But later, someone revealed that it's quite normal for moose to run over water or swim in it. It's just that they have never been seen doing so before. Melted Road. The next one is for those who love warmer weather. How about a summer so hot that even the roads melts off, and the wheels of your car just sink into the road? Yes, this happened in Kuwait a few years back, when the sun shone so bright that the bus wheels just embedded into the road. And it's not only roads, cars were also seen melted due to the extreme heat. See how the car trunks have melted off? The temperature was recorded above 70 degrees Celsius. That's around 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Pink Aurora Borealis. Thinking of northern lights, almost everyone thinks of the green ones. But these lights, also known as Aurora Borealis, comes in many different colors, like this pink one. Here's red too. The colors depend on two gases, oxygen and nitrogen. Oxygen gives the green color, and other colors are due to nitrogen. As oxygen is the most abundant gas in the atmosphere, so we see green a bit more than other colors. Sand burrow. This spider on a beach was captured doing something very strange, making a burrow on the beach. See how it meticulously put tiny blobs of wet sand around to make a roof for its home? Due to its tiny size, many people thought it was a spider, but it turned out to be a sand bubbler crab. These crabs dig their own nice and cozy burrows in the sand and live inside them. Friendly floaties. Back in 1992, a bunch of containers on a cargo ship spilled around 29,000 plastic toy ducks into the Pacific Ocean. And since then, they have been seen around the oceans of our plants. Sometimes they wash ashore, while other times they are seen in hordes like this. Not only did they float for all these years, these rubber ducks help scientists determine the ocean current patterns. How, you may ask? Well, when they spilled, all of them went in different directions due to various currents. So, wherever they were found, experts used it to map out the oceans. These toys turned out to be a successful experiment in disguise.
Oh, here they go, Cam. Look at that surfing.
Blue lights. If you've ever wondered how a short circuit occurs at a substation, then here it is. These blazing blue flames are the currents. This is what happens when the switcher disconnects. Here's another similar example that happened in Boulder City, Nevada. See how the arc formed when the switch was disconnected? And don't worry, this is all happening in a controlled environment and no one got injured. Crisscross waves. A woman out on a walk along the beach noticed something very strange in the water. The waves didn't seem normal. When she panned the camera to them, the waves seemed to come from two directions and met in the middle, giving them a crisscross appearance. Not sure what had caused them, she recorded it for the world to see, and it sure is cool to look at them. There's another form of waves captured on a beach, where the water seemed to form square-shaped waves. and they might look impressive, but they're dangerous, as they are a sign of strong riptides. Fire Mountain. Contrary to what you might think, this place is not on fire. This is Yanar Dag, a natural gas fire found in the Absheron Peninsula, just outside of Baku. The fire blazes continuously on the hillside, even in the rain, and it's the result of hydrocarbon gases coming from below the Earth's surface. A lot of people visit every day to see the natural spectacle. Prism Spring. This pool looks like the rainbow spilled into it. Found in Yellowstone National Park, US, known as the Prism Spring due to its unusual coloration, this pool is one of a kind. Now, you must be thinking about what caused this strange hue to appear. Well, the water of the spring is very rich in minerals, and the bright vivid colors were a result of microbial mats that grow on the edges of the water. There are many smaller springs located nearby, but this one is famous as the largest one in the park and the third largest in the world. So the site attracts a lot of visitors daily. Starfish. On the Outer Banks of North Carolina, a guy noticed a bizarre sight, a starfish walking on the beach. It's not common for them to walk ashore, but they can walk on rocks, sand, and mud using thousands of their tiny suckers on the underside of their long legs that can contract to grip surfaces. Twisting and turning its limbs, this one was moving very slowly. But slow and steady wins the race. Hopefully, it reached its destination before falling prey to anyone. Floating watermelons. You would think water and fish are the only things flowing in the streams, but take a look at this very strange lot making its way through. Watermelons flowing in water. I think watermelon fishing is going to be the next big thing. This is a special system to transport these heavy fruits out of the farms. No need to pick those up by hand, just let them flow. Burning tree.
I'm still conjuring the video here till...
This clip is the perfect example of internal wounds. The tree looked quite normal from the outside, but on the inside it seemed to be burning up with fire. This can happen when lightning strikes a tree. With smoke rising around, it looked more like the devil's personal garden.
I'm still conjuring the video here till... We're meant to have storms today, were we?
Wild alligator. This man driving by a huge puddle wanted to see if something was hiding in the murky water, and his instinct proved to be right. Just as he threw his water bottle in there, a huge alarmed alligator emerged from the muddy water and gave the guy the scare of his life. Fortunately, he checked, otherwise his tires would have ended in shreds. Woodworms. This group of friends out exploring a Mexican beach came across this strange tree. When they opened it up, the inside of the tree was covered in tiny holes and was filled with bizarre-looking long white worms. Before you get grossed out, they were Pterodo novellis, also known as woodworms. And if you're wondering why they aren't moving, well, that's because they can't survive in the air and give out as soon as they are exposed. Enjoyed as a culinary delicacy, the guys enjoyed the treat. Back to life. This guy seemed to have got a bunch of fish. Their motionless state and dried up form showed that they were probably lifeless. But this guy's about to perform a magic trick. Just as he poured water on, the fish's lips moved and did they just come back to life? Yes, they did. These are plecofish and they have a very strange feature. They can survive up to 30 hours outside of water, if they have enough oxygen in their abdomen. Thankfully, the mystery was solved. Otherwise, everyone would have thought this guy had some supernatural powers. Icy Road. When people say they hate driving during the winters, that's what they mean. The road had become slick with a thin layer of ice covering it. See how these people were having the hardest time going up this small frozen incline? Now, imagine having to drive your car on this road. Although not good enough for walking or driving, these frozen roads surely provided a little taste of childhood for these old guys. Rocket Festival. A rocket-like object flying in the sky. Could this be a test missile launch or maybe some extraterrestrial spaceship? Well, none of them. It's the celebration of the Rocket Festival that takes place in Thailand and Laos every spring. During the festival, local rocket experts show off their homemade rockets. A few years back, they made this really cool rocket that looked like a spinning wheel. They launched the rocket high and it came back down safely with a parachute. Some of the rockets they used were so powerful that they reached almost as high as airplanes. People believe these rockets help bring rain by going up to the clouds. Frozen house. A couple years back, winters hit Hamburg, New York a little harder. Instead of fluffy, snowy, icy winds swept through the area, turning it into an icy wonderland. Massive waves on the lake coated in nearby houses, buildings, and trees in thick layers of ice. The residents that somehow got out were slipping on icy paths and struggling to open doors. And the ones inside their homes were stuck in a frozen fortress. And the bad news was that there was no quick fix. They just had to wait it out for the weather to get warm again and melt the ice off. Rainbow clouds. The internet was left shocked over a rainbow cloud that appeared over Haku City in China. The circular rainbow was hovering over a huge dark cloud. Many speculations about the mystery cloud arise. Some said that it looked like a portal to a whimsical parallel universe, while others suspected extraterrestrial origin. But the rainbow halo turned out to be an optical phenomenon known as cloud iridescence, which occurs when small water droplets diffract the sun's light. There have been many instances of the phenomenon in the past. Pelican Scoop. What are these pelicans doing in a circle? Having a group bath? Or performing some ritual? The clip was captured in a lake in the Yampa Valley. This is a scoop of pelicans, and they have gathered around to catch fish. This strategy is known as cooperative feeding. They gather the fish within the circle and then get right to feeding. Gator. Looking over a bridge into the water, I think this is exactly what you'd expect to find, right? A gator chilling in the murky water staring right into the camera with its mouth wide open. Was it expecting a treat from the man recording or something? Imagine dropping your phone at this moment. The gator would probably have swallowed it, realizing there wasn't any food coming. So it just accepted its fate and swam away, closing its mouth. Popping sand. A very unusual phenomenon was captured on a beach. The wet sand on the shore popped and then calmed down on its own. It looked like someone pushed the sand from the inside. Many people assumed it was probably a tiny geyser formed on the beach due to hot sand. And this is what a geyser normally looks like. Looks quite the same. So it might just be a miniature version. Now it's time for today's open discussion. This picture circulating on the internet showed a very strange beach scene. It might look like a storm has hit the beach, but it's nothing dangerous. These people out on Rafnjar Beach in Iceland just encountered some strong waves. The one standing too close just ran to get away from the freezing cold water. These are actually sneaker waves that occurs after a period of 10 to 20 minutes of gentle lapping waves. So if the beach seems too gentle, it might be a sign of such waves. It's good to always be attentive on the beach. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.